Good day, YouTube. This is Jay Money with Falling Forward Financial. Just an update here on Apple. They're rising back up. This is a look at what they've done over the last year. You could have got into them at the 120s back in March. And they've just had a great year up, we'll just call it, they're 29%. In the last 3 months, up over 15%. In the last month, down over 4%. Here in the last week, up 8.6%, and here's a look at today. So, having a really good day. Could about to dip there at 170. But this is Apple, ticker AAPL. I've talked about them on the channel here a couple times. I have 7 and a partial share. So if you don't have $172, you can throw 10, 20 bucks at it, whatever you choose. So this is my cost basis so far. I should have bought some on the dip back in here somewhere, but didn't. I bought some in here in a different account, but not here in Robinhood. If you don't know what Apple is, you're probably watching this on an Apple device, Mac computer, or a iPhone. I don't own any Apple products, but I do have the stock, so. And I know people that have all kinds of Apple products and no Apple stock. So I'm a big fan of the stock, but just don't have any Apple products. Apple's been around since 1976, volume of 46.49 million, and average of we'll just call it 114 million. So that is down 2.82 trillion. That's just amazing. Market cap and a 52-week low of $116.21 and a 52-week high of $182.94. Here is a look at their ratings. So they've always had great ratings, 79% buy rating. And so moving on here, over on Bing, currently showing it as a buy with a upside 1-year target of $186.92. Why we are raising our price estimate for Apple stock, and this is just a couple hours ago. Apple posted a record Q4 results. Apple's revenues are rising by about 11% year over year to $123.9 billion. And earnings expanding by about 25% to $2.10 per share. Although Apple had warned back in October that the ongoing chip shortage was likely to hurt holiday sales, it's fared better than expected, as all of its products, barring the iPad, saw sales grow, while iPhone sales expanded by about 9% to $71.6 billion. So really amazing company, amazing products, amazing sales. Everybody likes their products. We have increased our Apple price estimate to $174 per share, up from $159, previously marking a premium of over 10% over the current market price. There are a couple of factors driving our price increase. Firstly, Apple had indicated that its ongoing semiconductor shortage was likely to ease in the coming quarters, and this could help drive sales growth. Particularly for products such as the iPhone and iPad, Apple's progress with bolstering its margins has been particularly encouraging. And so their sales are up. Margins came in at a solid 43.8%, up from around 39.8%. For perspective, the company has bought back an average of about 5% of the stock each year. So there's just a lot to say about the stock. I trade some. I invest into quite a few different avenues. There's days that I just think about putting my money into Apple and calling it in a day, but where would the fun in that be? But so always nice to hit the other highs on some other stocks, but also don't like the dips as well. So why this expert thinks Apple will never acquire Peloton, unnecessary and pricey headache. So Apple and Peloton Interactive, PTON, may appear to be a good match to some, but the tech giant will not acquire the latter. Journalist said in the latest newsletter, as Apple trends further into fitness, it could help Peloton, but doing so would be an unnecessary and pricey headache for Apple. The journalist, who focuses on the Tim Cook-led company, broke Peloton into two components, hardware and software. Apple won't gravitate towards Peloton's hardware, as the company's products such as stationary bicycles and treadmills are expensive, manufacture, and have low margins. They're also heavy and costly to ship, and their upgrade cycles don't match those of Apple's own offerings, as per Gurman. So a little bit of information there. And I can see their point. So big and bulky items, Apple does not have that. Their biggest item is probably their computer. Here's a couple more information. Otherwise, you can go straight to the source on MSN. Nike topped the poll with 48.3% of those voting saying the sneaker giant should take over the ailing stationary bike company. Alphabet, Google came in third with 21.1% of the vote, so very interesting. Shopify recruits Apple lobbyist Kuhn for counterfeit work, and this is also dated yesterday. Canada's most valuable public company has hired an Apple Incorporated lobbyist to work on intellectual property issues and stopping the sale of counterfeit goods. Kuhn, who is also a former chief counsel, joined Shopify's internal advocacy team as director of federal government affairs, the company said on January. Kuhn spent nearly a decade at Apple and most recently as a manager of federal government affairs. He started with Shopify in December, and he's part of a team lobbying the federal government on counterfeit goods, boosting small businesses, and charging laws to help protect intellectual property rights, per Senate filing. Company growth has slowed from earlier in the pandemic, and once soaring share price has slipped. But if you have Shopify, I think I have a partial in Robinhood. If you have any of Shopify, go ahead and list that in the comments as well. Apple overcomes supply chain bottlenecks to report record sales in Q1. And this is also dated here today. So all kinds of Apple information. Impressively, Apple managed to feat while global supply chain bottlenecks constrained it from producing as much as consumers were willing to purchase. Let's take a closer look at the Apple's Q1 results and see if they reveal more on how Apple accomplished this, as well as where it might be going. Apple's impressive Q1 results rewrite records in several categories. Starting with revenue, Apple reported an all-time high record of $124 billion in Q1, up 11% from the same quarter the year before. Analysts on Wall Street were expecting its report revenue of $118 billion. The $6 billion outperformance involved outperformance by nearly all of the product and service categories. The decrease is year-over-year sales in the iPad was not because customers were not willing to buy. Instead, the iPad is the product line getting hit hardest by supply shortages. So there's still an ongoing supply, probably due to people not going back to work. I'm here in Omaha, Nebraska. There's help wanted signs all over the place. Some people still aren't back to work. I don't get it. I work all the time. I've never taken off work. So if you have any information on that, you can leave that in the comments. So what it's like to not have a job and not work and still be able to pay your bills, but something I can do. Apple iPhone hits highest European market share during roller coaster year in 2021. Apple's smartphone business grew by 25% year over year in Europe market in 2021 and hit its highest ever market share in the region by December 2021. iPhone makers' smartphone market share eclipsed Samsung in Europe twice in 2021. The calendar year, Apple both ended the year as the region's biggest smartphone maker, according to a new report from Counterpoint Research. Apple's total market share throughout 2021 was 26%, up from 22% in 2020. Samsung's market share was slightly higher at 32% for 2021, though Apple ended the year with a total market share of 33%, its highest in Europe so far. So another reason, not that I give tax, legal, or trading advice, but another reason to consider Apple shares is it's getting into Europe, and sales, you can see, just don't stop, and it's just amazing. So hence the reason why I said some days I just want to put all my money in Apple, but I don't believe just putting it all into one company, but the way it grows, and if you got in on the split, which I'm sure it'll probably do that in another year or two, who knows, could be sooner, the way it grows, so it's hard to say. But here's the smartphone market, Samsung in the lead, Apple right behind, which is just amazing. So, and I mean, those could flip-flop here at some point, so just throwing that out there. Over here on Reddit, and Apple, as you know, is part of the FANGs. Technical analysis, see if there's anything relevant in there. There is not. Over here on StockTwits, currently at 173.17, 52-week low of 116.21, high of 182.94. I almost dumped all of my Apple stock when it hit that, but then I was like, well, could go higher, but I wish I would have dumped it now and rebought. Probably could have got another share or two, but if the day closes at these levels higher, another gap up tomorrow. There you go. Apple stock, Morgan Stanley's top pick of 2022. So there you go, top pick. Already at 0.681 tracement. Blow through the next highs or roll over here. And over here on MSN Money, currently showing it as a buy. And here on TipRanks, currently showing it as a buy with a 10% upside to 192.18. High of 215, low of 161. But if you have Apple, go ahead and list that in the comments along with your cost basis, any other information you'd like to share. And this is an interesting article. HBO, other streamers get waves of subscribers from the must-see content. There you go. This Wonder Woman. And if you haven't smashed that like button yet, go ahead and hit that for me, as well as subscribing, and hit the bell so you're notified of when the next videos drop. Again, this is Jay Money, following Forward Financial. Happy trading, happy investing, stay great. Cheers.